Alrighty, alrighty then. Now I'm making, for this recipe, to start with, I am melting a stick of butter on the stove. This recipe calls for a cup of oats. So I took it a step further and did the overnight oats thing. A cup of oats covered with milk is what I used. I had to come back and put a little more milk in a little bit later, and a couple 3 tablespoons of yogurt. Set it on the counter overnight. It's called overnight oats. And apparently there's some kind of a chemical process that happens that makes the oats more healthy. I'm not good at all that kind of stuff, but you can look it up. Overnight oats. So we'll throw those in the bowl. Turn the camera just a tad. Okay. So a cup of oats, stick of butter's going on there. Of all things, the recipe wants a little bit of peanut butter. It calls for a whole cup, but to me that's too much. So that's about maybe a quarter cup, a third of a cup, something like that. I'll eat that later, but not in front of you. Okay, peanut butter. I use different fruits and sometimes nuts and other flavorings. Nuts, different fruits. So this time I'm using cherries. I always rinse the top of my cans because they sit on my shelves, they sit on the grocery shelves, they get dust and insect, and animal, rodent, dander. I don't know. I just feel like it's cleaner to do it this way. And I'm going to use about half a can of these cherries. And then I'll use the other can, the rest of the can, when I make this another time. And I'm going to make this one cherry chocolate almond. So here I have some unsweetened baking chocolate. Put about a half a cup of that in there. A cup of flour. Alrighty, cup of flour. This dress that I'm wearing is old. This is from probably 1996 or 97. Before I moved in here, my undaughter and her family were living here. My undaughter is somebody who is like a daughter, but we're not blood related. She was just a sweet woman that I met, and I fell in love with her and her family, and so they were living here. And we used to come over and play Dungeons and Dragons. We had a wonderful dungeon master, whatever they call it. I wasn't into that game too much, but I liked playing because it was a good family activity. I'd bring my daughter, and she had her children, and we'd play Dungeons and Dragons. We had a great dungeon master. He would not let anybody, it was family oriented, no violence, no disgusting weapons, harsh weapons and stuff. And he is a metal worker, a forger, blacksmith, and he would bring props over to show us what these tools were capable of. For example, one time he made a torch with a stick and wadded up something. I don't know what he put for the accelerant. And we went out in the yard at night, and he lit the torch so that he could show us how much light and what kind of light is shed by somebody carrying a torch. Another time, he brought over a short sword that he had made, and I fell in love with that thing. It just fit me perfectly, the right length. I could draw it out of the scabbard, the right handhold. So we got to feel what it's like to wield a sword. We had a wonderful time visiting. And then they moved to New York, but it was a good move for them. She's running a wellness center over there now, and her children have all done well, and my daughter's done well. So, but anyway, one of the projects we did here was we had a tie-dye session, and this was one of the products from the tie-dye session. Rinse my eggshell. I think I mentioned that. I use them in my garden. Okay, so we got the sugar, we got the egg. Everything is in there except the butter. So I'm gonna, oh, the almonds, okay. I'm going to pause and chop up some of these almonds. All right, finally, well, coarsely cut almonds. I went off camera because it takes forever to chop almonds. They want to sprick all over the room. Got to go real slow and careful. Okay, all that's left now is the butter, I'm pretty sure. And I'm going to let that cool in the pan before I add it to the mix. So I'm going to mix this up and then let it set for a while and blend and that kind of good thing. It smells good. I can smell the chocolate and the almonds. The good stiff dough. As I'm mixing this, the cherries are getting kind of smooshed up in there. That's good. Help blend the flavor of them through the batter. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. Cover it up there.